lower damage output. He's just so clutch in those multi-man scenarios.
Yeah, he's 4-0 on it, but one of the big things is Stark, he's not just the person who is in charge of being a carry top laner. When he's on a tank, he's the playmaker. He's the one who pulls the trigger on the fight. He's the one who blows the horn on the Ornn and makes it so that those fights start.
Yeah, we saw a lot of very early teleports from him when he gets the Ornn. He wants to be super proactive with that. And of course, on the opposite side, now that they prioritize the Ornn, the counterpick's always a possibility.
Yeah, the Braum, I would say, is already a big counterpick to it. You just stuff the engage with the shield, and then the ultimate is just kaput. It's gone.
And now also, not going to see the Kindred. Stomaged favorite counterpick, not going to see the light of day again. Spawn will be happy. And they do get themselves the Trundle. This is a pick that EVOS did struggle against a little bit when it came to their final performance.
I do want to see what YiJin picks into this, though, because Graves, Kindred, Ranged, even things like Nidalee are pretty good into the Trundle, having a 1v1 or faster clear speed. So I do want to see what he picks there.
A lot of options left open. As you highlighted, the Cassio will be locked in.
Yeah, this is the game where Ryze has been left up here, so GBM's Ryze is something that you have to worry about being picked later, so this kind of stops that from being picked, but now GBM has so many unique champions. He played 6 games during the play-in stage. He played 6 different champions. He's a champion ocean and is actually quite vast in terms of what he's able to pull out.
I mean, the one we always mention to prove our point is the Alawi mid lane. Of course, I don't think we'll see anything that crazy, but it's something that you should be ready for on the side of Warzone.
And another thing, too, is I like this Cassio because it doesn't only just stop you from picking Ryze because you're counterpicking yourself. It stops the Vladimir, which is kind of Cassio's the common counterpick to the Vlad. So it's doubly effective here, even though it's blind.
That's the other thing as well, right? Like, Karma was also banned away from EVOS, which is usually seen into the Vladimir. They choose to ban it. They don't choose to prioritize it for themselves. So they kind of have to pick something like the Cassiopeia. And it's not going to be the likes of the Talia. It's not going to be the roam-heavy champion that could work super well with an Alistar in your composition. Go down to bottom, just have some damage dealers. This Cassiopeia is going to be a harder pivot.
Have to see. And now as we enter the second ban phase, you can see what role both teams are looking to pinch for TCL. They want to shut down Slay. They've already got their Ezreal. They want to take some of the options off the board. Jhin, the first one to go.
I expect Caitlyn to be the next one. They picked the Ezreal here for safety on the side of SuperMassive. And also, Ezreal Braum, very good invading combination. If you land the Q or the auto attack with the Braum, Ezreal is one of the AD carries that can stack up the passive the fastest to get to the stun. So I really do like that pick here. I like the bans that are coming through from both sides so far.
See what they want to go for. GP, no comfort pick for fabFabulous. Stark sees he has to play the tank on the top side, knows he can get effectiveness out of it, but doesn't want to risk getting outscaled. Of course, Caitlyn the ban, as predicted there, Zirene, so that one off the board. Varus, of course, a pick that's still available, not one we've seen yet in this series. See where Slay wants to put his priority. Jinx, one of those ones that was rumored at the start of the tournament, but really hasn't seen too much of the light of day. And Fiora also getting taken away. Stark really knows what he does not want to play.
Yeah, he certainly does. Get rid of the Fiora, get rid of the Gangplank. Camille also has been banned away, so that's most of your carries in the top lane completely removed. There's a chance now that SuperMassive, knowing that fact, they could flex this, I will say that, but Sion tends to be the natural go-to tank now that an Ornn has been seen. However, the Vladimir, we mentioned this just before, so powerful for GBM. Can't believe they chose to give it away.
They had 2 more bans to throw. They don't do it. They say the Cassio is going to be easy to play up against it. We'll have to track that lane and see what Warzone's able to do up against GBM.
But now with the Graves locked in, this is one of the picks that you talked about, Zirene, in terms of options to deal with the Trundle. And an aggressive pick like this, something that can farm so quickly, I want to see what YiJin can get done on this champion.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic up against the Trundle. And yeah, we're going to have the Tristana here. I was looking at the Varus win rate for Slay. It's actually one of his worst AD carries. He's 1-3 on it, considering he's pretty much just like crushing it on Kalista, Caitlyn, and Ezreal. These champions, you go down the tier list. I think what he wants is mobility here, because Vladimir, if he picks something like a Varus, Vladimir will be all over him, on top of him, just throwing out the ultimate and just blowing him up. So Slay with something that can actually push GBM out potentially, kind of relies on the pool timing, but also keep himself safe.
And at the end of the day, fabFabulous, so many picks to go for. Maybe we see a Gnar, maybe we see something else. Nope, goes with the Maokai. Tried and true, tank top classic.
Yeah. I mean, there's a stark contrast, to be fair, between both team compositions, not just your top laners. There's an Ezreal in the AD carry role. Does still scale up decently well with the new double tier build into dealing some damage, but GBM's going to be the primary source once again on the Vladimir. The tank to be seen in the top lane. The Maokai so good at locking champions down. And the Tristana, he can follow the Trist, he can keep on the Graves, and they're just carries across the board from EVOS.
And have to see, can they find that quick early pace that they love to play through? Will we see them slow it down now because they have a Tristana, because they have these scaling picks? Or are they still just going to look to fight constantly?
I mean, stylistically, you would say they're going to want to fight constantly. They're going to want to use the Graves to have early moves. But when you look at the compositions, scaling mid laner, scaling AD carry, you would expect them to say, okay, let's just pump the brakes a little bit. But I don't think that's the VCS style. I don't think EVOS are here to play that game. We saw what happened in game 2 when they thought they could scale up. But I think they want to go back to game 1. They want to have a game that gets down and dirty and a little more bloody.
I mean, you can't pump the brakes if there's no brakes on the car. That's basically the way the VCS plays as an entire region. They only go forwards, and I think this starts with YiJin. I think this starts through the Graves against the Trundle. Go forwards. Warzone helps him get the 2v2s and just control the map.
Absolutely the case. It is time to find out. We are now getting ready. Game 3 in this series, 1-1 apiece. The winner moves themselves up to match point, one step closer to the main stage. EVOS Esports versus SuperMassive Esports. Coming through on the blue side, early jungle, as always, a talking point in this series. You can't not talk about it when YiJin is on the map. Fans in the crowd ready to see if EVOS can find another win. But what do we actually expect from this? Is this an invade? Is he going to hard farm? What do we expect from this pick in the hands of YiJin?
Track him. Go in the jungle, track the enemy jungle. We looked at the jungle proximity for YiJin in wins and losses. It was higher when they lose. When he's playing around his lanes, they actually lose the game more often. If he's in the enemy jungle, stealing camps, creating a gold difference between himself and the other player, that's when he really shines, is when YiJin is controlling the other jungler, makes it so that his lanes can play safely and push forward.
Him and Warzone usually have really good gold differences in wins, so stark contrast to be seen usually between their wins and losses through those two roles. Of course, what you are looking for forward 2 with YiJin on the Graves is that he could track him. He does have an advantage at taking Raptors, just being the Graves over the Trundle, until you see the likes of a Tiamat. And it isn't the Rejuve bead start here from Stomaged on the opposite side. He's gone for the refillable potions. So his jungle pathing is the place that you have to look first. And will YiJin find that through vision placement? We know that SuperMassive have moved forwards early in this game to try and find some of their own.
And I don't think it's going to be a Tiamat for Stomaged, because Tiamat's something that's been a little bit more exclusive to what we've been seeing here in this match, but also the LPL. In other regions in the West, it just isn't really seen at all on Trundle. It's considered a gold sink just to get your Raptors, which will take a few extra seconds to clear, but you are capable of clearing. So I expect the Graves, I expect YiJin to try and find a way to exploit that.
Dodge that vision.
Down the mid lane.
And he's playing to that side.
Warzone has to be careful. Level 1 Cassio. Warzone's been here before. Immediately burns the flash.
Yeah, one of the strengths of Warzone as a player is that he doesn't hesitate to flash.
Maybe looking to turn the play. Warzone still level 1. Has the Twin Fang, though. That's a low cooldown. Stomaged may just need to flash here. A lot of damage, but has the red buff to start to sustain through.
He did need to flash, because YiJin almost got the second part of the Q on him, and now that means he can go into the Trundle's jungle. He can push this Trundle out. He can start harassing. This is exactly how YiJin likes to play League of Legends. This is when you see EVO start winning games.
And you talk about difference between regions. Stomaged didn't want to flash, but he had to. Warzone didn't care. He will flash immediately, and he stays healthy, where the Trundle does not. But SnowFlower's
YiJin may have wanted the 1v1, but probably does not want the 2v1. There's the pillar as well. Choose not to follow, though.
The bottom lane. RonOP.
Oh, they want the fight. Looking for the knockup. The Ignite immediately goes down the body block. SnowFlower trying to keep his jungler alive. Ignite is ticking.
Red buff.
Is he going to burn? He's still alive. First blood going through on the red buff. SnowFlower now has to run now to make it out, but Warzone has been left all on his lonesome. Nullifying orb, not going to be enough. There's the Crimson Rush. Kill traded back.
GBM Diamond Tube, huh? Diamond Tube? That's what's going through his head right now. Takes down Warzone, solo kill in the mid lane.
Yeah, 3 minutes in the game as well to get that solo kill. Compliments to the flash used earlier by Stomaged, but Stomaged also dies. So technically, you'd say there was a trade there between the 2v2 as a lot was expended for each kill respectively.
Yeah, but when YiJin starts getting ahead in the jungle, it just goes from bad to worse for the other team. Stomaged is going to struggle to pick up camps now. He's going to have to go for his Raptors, or potentially the other side of the map to get something here. Because this play, where Stomaged didn't have flash from earlier, the revisit and just the aggression that came out of the bottom lane, and the good roam from Ron.
Yeah, nice little use of the red buff there, getting the last tick as you do come towards the mid lane. GBM also even dodging out on the Q with the puddle, making sure that there's no such thing as move speed. There's no safe place for him to be.
Stomaged actually will get the enemy blue here because it's not covered completely.
Still level 2, though. Still spotted on vision. So perfect information here coming in terms of the jungler.
It's a counter gank that you're looking at actually for YiJin. He knows it. He knows that he's only level 2, and they'll see when he goes to the Scuttle Crab. So just hovering around the mid lane, letting Warzone be oppressive.
Still just level 2. Scuttle Crab, not enough. Cassio with mid pressure, and he's going to go to the rafters. Luckily for him, the Graves has decided to back. That could have been merciless on the side of YiJin.
Yeah, the only issue there is that your mid lane isn't winning because of the kill from earlier, so you're in a position where you probably don't win the 2-on-2 because of Vladimir, but you could win the 2-on-2 if things went your way, but nobody has flashes, so it would just have to be kind of a coin flip, and it looks like EVOS are not willing to take it here, despite us knowing them as an aggressive team.
Yeah. And now, of course, backing means that he does manage to pick up the Skirmisher Saber as well as the extra longsword, so going to be difficult for the Trundle, see what he can back and afford to purchase, but extra AD for a Graves, never something you want to deal with too much. When we look across the lanes, you can see bot lane just about dead even, and all of the early action around those first 2 kills gets us kind of amped up, but it has slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, with the pace of this game slowing down, it does wonders for an Ezreal to stack up the tier, for the levels to come through for the Vladimir as well, and ultimately SuperMassive. They do want to play a bit slower than their respective opponents in this one.
I mean, we are saying the game slowed down, but it's because it peaked very, very early on. We're 5 minutes in, 2 kills. Last game, it took a long time before First Blood came out, so EVOS is already off to a better game stylistically with their jungler being ahead, too.
I will say there's opportunities, though, for consistent ganks. No summoners being available means you do want to keep going for these chances, even if it's just damage, which unfortunately doesn't connect on this one.
And shout out to Stomaged, who at level 3 continues to gank, runs through the mid lane, gets a little bit extra experience, just enough to get to level 4. We're going to have to hold that thought. He's level 6 advantage. Still comes in for GBM. He's going to try to go under, but this
what's Warzone doing
against them. Warzone wants to fire back, just trying to sidestep. There's nothing there for GBM. Gets the kill! Now Stomaged maybe next. Here comes the Graves. They're going to get another one! Oh my god, outplayed! What is SuperMassive doing?
I think GBM has just lost his mind for a second there. Going forwards, thought he had to dive. At least in the 1v1 he'd be safe. But with no idea, presumably, of where the jungler is of EVOS. I mean, he just bites off way too much even in the 1v1.
My favorite part of that is watching Stomaged, who he's off on the side, and then he's just going to come in through. He's like, I got you, buddy. Straight underneath the turret to follow here. It's like, all right, this is the most obvious dive in the history of dives. Runs forward, YiJin is there. Immediately the nearsighted comes out. Because that got changed for Graves, it just locks him out, slows him even more. And,
you hate to see it.
And he was feeling himself after last game, still playing last game a little bit as that strong Vladimir. Weaker this time around, and we can see the jungler who's been influencing this. Variable performance across the game. This game looking like another fantastic one for him.
Yeah, certainly set up this time around YiJin on the Graves, empowered from level 1 onwards, basically, just from the matchup alone, and from the way that Stomaged has been playing.
And of course, game 2, 0 kills plus assists at 15. This game, a little different, already participating in 2.
And this is what you want to see from EVOS, because when Stark is playing a tank, he's not going to be the one who's split pushing to kind of win the game like he was in game 1. It's going to be the rest of the team that needs to step up, and that's YiJin, followed by Warzone.
And the development of EVOS as well. We talked about, top lane jungle synergy, not mid jungle synergy, although GBM may be the one looking to gank here. fabFabulous right there, very low. Good damage comes in from GBM. Start trying to buy a bit of time, use the shield, call the Forge God, and a flash out to safety. Will knock back. I'm just going to walk away.
Still good use of getting the summoner out there. So good rotation from GBM. You can see on the opposite side of the map, however, you've revealed the Vlad. You know the Maokai can't assist this. Trying to play the numbers game.
Good use of the disengage there. TP now coming in. Looking to trade CC. Slay goes forward. May just get stunned in exchange, but Stark is here. Backs and immediately goes bottom lane. Maokai now free on the top side of the map.
Yeah, that hurts him a lot. He doesn't have the ultimate, so he couldn't actually blow it right after. So he pretty much came down to accomplish almost nothing and just lose CS on the top side.
Yeah, he gains nothing really from that. The teleport being wasted. You mentioned the ultimate being gone. Well, he probably shouldn't have teleported at all without that available. Barely actually gets to recall, otherwise he would have lost even more.
A little unfortunate for Zeitnot. Definitely wanted to cancel that out, but does hit the creep wave, trying to keep the push up. And you can see Slay clearly committed to a more late game strategy, even if his mid and jungle have a bit of a different plan. 55 stacks remaining on that coal before he can cash in.
And right now, the lead right now for EVOS is pretty much in that jungle. You see YiJin's already invading the second blue buff. He's sitting on 1,600 gold right now. He's 1,000 gold up over the enemy Trundle. He's 1,000 gold up over Stomaged. So YiJin has a lot of the tools to carry this game right now. And that's what I'm looking for here is how is he going to start accelerating the pace and trying to get towards this mid lane again? Because GBM, he's been really aggressive.
Oh, absolutely has. Ulti again. Heal comes out from Warzone. RonOP is right there in the mid lane. GBM, I'm sorry, buddy, you got to run. Now trying to go through, the knockup is there. Warzone with the ulti gets another kill back.
And how many times do you think we'll see GBM go aggressively when people are missing from the opponent team? This keeps happening now. The first time he just made a mistake in the 1v1, but this time there's 3 here. He doesn't just get punished by dying, he gets punished by his turret getting smacked.
Yeah, and you want to see YiJin up the tempo? Unfortunately for SuperMassive, it's GBM upping the tempo right now, and YiJin more than happy to just help pick up here, get the damage down on the turret. Stomaged is on the way, but not a whole lot they can accomplish there.
And I know GBM from back in his days in North America, and one of the most tilting things for this guy was he always thought he was better than the enemy mid laner. When I would watch him, even in practices and stuff, he would always go in and try this. And the thing that would tilt him is when somebody else would show up when he's like, I had that guy is trash, I could beat him, and he gets help from his team.
And to be clear here as well, he uses the Ghost super early, and he has to flash to cover the distance. If you're going to all in as Vladimir and use the flash, you better hope that that all in, that one burst of spells, that rotation kills him. Otherwise, you've made a mistake. And unfortunately, it's the second time now where he's done that. The miscalculations coming out makes you wonder.
What's going to keep hurting his calculations? If he keeps trying to do that, you're going to have a Cassiopeia that's harder and harder to kill, and it's this counter matchup that now he's down almost 20 CS in. Look at that.
Now you can see he just does not get to approach the wave. Warzone forcing the defensive use of the pool. And this is scary because we know Warzone has been a little bit inconsistent on this team, hasn't had the best international performances, but this game, when you give him this kind of lead, he's obviously going to run away with it.
I mean, he's had good performances in the last 2 games. We came in with even Spawn on the desk saying, you know, this guy doesn't seem very good, but hey, turned it around after games 1 and 2. Even had that victor game, he was very far ahead. And this one, looking more of the
now
same.
Turned around. Have to check in on that top lane fight if anything else is going to happen for now. It is just a wet noodle fight. And that looks like solo first tower gold going over to the Graves. The lead only continues to grow, and YiJin's making his way to the top side. If fabFabulous cannot heal up or get out, he is going to go down.
Yeah, he's going to have to recall here. There's a chance they cancel it. It's very hard to kill this Maokai, I will say. They may want him to even recall.
Trying to bait. fabFabulous going forward. He took the bait. Now he's
that's so good.
Stark now getting locked down. Chain CC under the tower. fabFabulous. Cassio is there as well. If anything, he has to try to get a kill on the Graves, but he's blinded. Can't see her coming. Gets taken out.
Now, of course, Stomaged comes in to try and defend, and ultimately, they do get the Maokai. At what cost, of course, because the trade's still available from fabFabulous. But this proactivity, they're now moving, they're feeling it, they're unlocked.
And the trading is just actually in favor of EVOS. They're getting kills onto their Graves, they're getting objectives. He is now about 1,700 gold up, almost 2,000 actually above his opponent, and the mid lane. Now 1,100 up for Warzone. Warzone picks up this kill here. He has a Dark Seal. It's worth even more on him. And that was so well played from fabFabulous, but the fact that the map was in a state where mid lane and the jungle and the top lane get to collapse on you before you even have your jungler there, that's kind of indicative of how this mid lane has been going.
And for fabFabulous, last game he kind of got a break from this style. Got to sit more comfortably, got to play tank-v-tank matchup. This game, we're right back to game 1 where he's getting this attention, where YiJin is taking this lead and starting to throw it in his lanes. And you can see, Zirene, you already pointed it out, 2,000 just about gold difference between each respective jungler. It's not a tank-v-tank jungle match. This is a Graves. This guy is going to kill people.
Yeah, and right now, kind of the saving grace right now for Stomaged is that YiJin hasn't purchased. He's sitting on that 2,000 gold in his inventory to the 1,200 that Stomaged has. So Stomaged will get his jungle item completed, but we're looking at lots of components here for YiJin. I want to see what he goes for here. Some people went for like Black Cleaver. We've seen Youmuu's. Phantom Dancer is also another one that jumps up for the dueling.
Yeah, I do actually think that Youmuu's Phantom Dancer is the best build after the Black Cleaver. Of course, you want to have a bit of extra tankiness, especially when you are ahead, and complement the rest of your team. Get the Tristana damage amplified just that little bit further.
Yeah, and another cool thing about Graves with the Black Cleaver is that it actually applies a stack per bolt. So the closer you are to somebody, the shotgun, you actually full stack them if you're point blank with one single hit from the shell.
Yeah, shredding through the tankier members. The Trundle, the Maokai, even the stats the Trundle steal, going to be a little bit weaker this time around. And YiJin returning to the top side. fabFabulous will know that he's coming, but it might be too late. A lot of CC in the kit of Ornn. Cats come out, but the body block is there. Call the Forge God. fabFabulous going to try to play this one out, but he's just getting cut down. So much damage, the healing, not enough. Stark going to grab the kill in the end.
Yeah, the inevitable death, however, on the bottom side of the map, they're still looking for the objective first. So they do get the turret down far quicker than that of their opponents. Even GBM was hovering around.
Yeah, and the fact that EVOS also had to go through a cannon minion that was buffed up by Banner means that they're very late to get this, and I think that might be when Mountain Drake spawns. So to be Mountain Drake to SuperMassive.
A small advantage for sure. Definitely something to balance out the 2K gold advantage that EVS have built up for themselves this far into the game. And now it's a support duel. But EVOS grabbing another tower. This is a little bit tough for SuperMassive. They might have wanted to see a slower game, but EVOS once again in control.
I was like, are they giving the gold over to YiJin again? But it looks like they split it there.
He wants that Black Cleaver. I think he could have taken the solo gold. He's clearly taking everything else on the map, invading, taking camps. He's been absolutely everywhere this game, and SuperMassive were grasping at straws for that counter pick. They went for the Kindred over and over again, but it looks like EVOS are the ones with a really solid counter pick to this Trundle in the game.
They are now fully set to succeed. It's not just the Black Cleaver that does get completed. It's a Banner of Command and the Rylai's Crystal Scepter for Warzone in the mid lane. So they've got a lot of crowd control with the slows that are available, the move speed the Black Cleaver provides as well. They've got utility out of their itemizations where the champions before, not so much.
And this is what you want to see from EVOS. We talked about pace of the game. Faster favors them. And that's exactly what they've been doing, is they won some of those first skirmishes. They'll continue to win these skirmishes, and they're going to try to fight here.
Up goes. Where's GBM going to go? The Vladimir has been key, but Warzone is zoning him out of the fight. Now trying to get in, but he's not going to hit anybody except for the Alistar. That's disaster for the rest of the team. Cassio comes out. Slay is now unafraid of GBM as he's going to grab one for himself. The resets are coming in. Fab in the backside. Slay looking to get one more, but it goes over to the Cassio in the end. Zeitnot now going to fall as well. The double kill. Slay more than happy to play cleanup in the fight. Stomaged running, tail between his legs. Nothing left for SuperMassive.
And now 10-2 is the scoreline here for EVOS as well, pushing forwards. They're not just getting momentum from kills, but Warzone sets it up for the rest of the team to hit at home. Slay getting those resets, a good sign of what's to come if you're an EVOS fan.
They are obliterating SuperMassive in this game. SuperMassive want to slow it down. EVOS say, no, that's not the case. Bully the jungle from the start. GBM looked like he was out of sync with what they wanted to do, and he's kind of put them in this position now where they've lost the map.
He's went from the sole carry in those team fights and situations to the sole reason that the team is kind of starting to fall apart. You look at it, he's trying to run the same play he's run in the first 2 games, but this time, EVOS are ready. They just split up. They just say, hey, you want to come in? We'll just kill you.
Yeah, and that's what I called earlier. It's called overplaying. It's when you're playing more than you actually have to. You're kind of exerting yourself or overexerting yourself and not using your team to your advantage. And it seems like exactly what he's doing. He went out, tries to make a hero play again. That's kind of what it looks like GBM is playing for here, is the montage plays. He's got them before. This game, though, it's not happening. He's on the other end of the montage.
And while we're looking at the real replay in real time, SuperMassive are trying to get something back. You take a look at the team fight damage. GBM only 1,000 despite the aggressive flash in. Trundle even going to match him, but the Graves and the Cassio on the other side. Warzone, an absolute monster this game.
Came in and won his first international game. Spawn was saying he was 0-7. Well, now he's
Warzone he wants a little bit more. Oh god, he's really feeling himself. Zeitnot, they're going to fire back. That's the stun. They're just going to kill him. Oh, feeling himself a bit too much.
What a feeling.
Caster Curse in full effect. As soon as we talked about him, loses his mind. And now YiJin, okay, we'll try this one. YiJin's been playing quite well as well. He's kind of been the other person on the team that's been carrying. I'm seeing if it works.
All it takes is one concussive blow stack, and that Graves might just be dead. But luckily, RonOP is here to save him. Still, YiJin approaching really aggressively, and Ezreal...
Yeah, he has the wave clear.
Has the Muram on it too, so he hits pretty hard if they do get hit by that poke.
It's too hard to stop a Graves from clearing the wave with the ultimate anyway. It's a line nuke, so as long as he catches them crashing into the turret, which is what he did there. It's why he steps up and he's able to hold the turret, but they also lost the mid lane turret. As we get to watch the exact moment that Warzone knew. He made a mistake. Of course, it was a Q from SnowFlower that's procced as he was getting stunned. It's a pretty big deal in the context of that trait.
Ooh, they lost a teleport there too from Stark, so that actually affects the whole state of the map.
Definitely not what they wanted in the exchange, kind of overplaying his hands the same way that we saw from GBM, a little bit too eager to just shut them down, keep the momentum going, continuing to grow that lead, but just doesn't have the burst damage quite yet to make that kind of play, and good on Zeitnot to turn around and walk it out patiently. But Rift Herald will fall.
Man, I love that attack cadence from the Graves. Once you get to that point where you take the precision tree now, so you have a little bit more in terms of the attack speed, you get yourself some daggers, you get your 20%, 30% CDR from this build, and you're just constantly eating around with the resets on that.
And get it done, Ron. He takes the Rift Herald buff for himself as well in the support role.
Faster backs. Keep resetting your wards.
It always makes you wonder why you would do that at all. Usually it's because one member uses the sweeper in the pit, so the person who's just used the sweeper takes the Rift Herald buff, but neither of them have that available. So ultimately it just seems like a conscious choice that they want to keep YiJin by himself, perhaps working towards Stark. He needs the clear vision to be able to do that, and so they give it to the other side of the map.
Now Ron is going to run up topside, may look to use it there to try to break a tier 2. Of course, all the tier 1s just about already down. Bot lane, the last one left standing, but he's nowhere in the area. However, Graves, YiJin, ready to shut down fabFabulous. And you got to wonder for fabFabulous, this has happened so much in game 1. Is he at Spider Sense point where he just goes, oh yeah, there's someone here to kill me. Nope, not the case, because he doesn't see the Graves coming. Now trying to make his way out. Good CC comes through. Just going to continue to auto-attack him. He should just fall down right here. fabFabulous still alive, but not enough. YiJin tanking the tower and just completely unafraid.
And now you see that build. The Black Cleaver makes a ton of sense because he's going to be going after the tanks first. Man, YiJin is level 13. He's the highest level on his team. I can't remember the last time I've seen this in a professional game, that the jungler is the highest level. It has been a long time.
I think you can remember the Levi Nocturne. I think we look back to another Vietnamese team if you want to talk about junglers who are hilariously over-leveled in a game.
I mean, he's 4 levels up over Stomaged.
It's insane. He's actually insanely far ahead considering that we're 20 minutes into the game as well. Usually junglers try and catch up that little bit more, but no, he stays ahead. And that is the VCS special. That is the Vietnamese jungle special.
And just an incredible performance here in Game 3, looking to move themselves up to match point. Now GBM has he overstayed his welcome. Good use of the pool, RonOP. Not going to flash, not going to look for anything else. Use the Hex Flash to try to make the play, that's it.
Quick back. Get those wards back up.
Hey, that's true. That's some good value. See where they want to use it, as it is about halfway through the cooldown now. Warzone playing a little bit more safe around the mid lane after his over-aggressive play on the top side. And still, EVO's in complete control here. SuperMassive, though, have gotten a few things back here and there due to some missteps, but no doubt that EVO's absolutely own the map at this point.
Yeah, and a lot of that is off the back of YiJin. This guy, super young. I believe he's 17 years old. Born in the year 2000, making me feel old, but he's playing right now out of his mind. He's 3 items, and there's 1.5 on Stomaged.
Yeah, the aura of confidence that comes from these junglers is something to be admired. Even going towards the rapid fire cannon as his 3rd item of choice. Not the Phantom Dancer. Why would you
I don't
duel
need damage reduction to duel you. I need damage to duel you.
That bit of extra range, because you know they're running away, Drakos. You know they're going to back out.
Definitely the case, and now they're taking the red buff away. And really, EVOS, we've been critical a little bit of their vision in this game, but they have set up total control on the top side jungle. And now they're just looking to play it a little bit slower in the mid lane.
Yeah, the major objective is the Baron buff. So that's now the place where a lot of attention will go towards. When a Graves is this fed, they'll do it extremely quickly. When a Cassiopeia is on the map, they do it even faster. So that's a thing that needs to be fully respected from SuperMassive, as RonOP may be caught.
YiJin does a lot of damage, though, going in for the extra, a little bit of burst. Braum blocking what he can. Warzone throws the ulti over the wall. They're trying to keep the tank zone down in the fight. They know YiJin can bring it home. He does so much in the exchange on a killing spree. Now GBM, perfect access to the backline, but Stark says, no, not today. He manages to find the ulti onto 3. Looks for a little bit more healing, but Slay is untouched. That's the double dropping for YiJin. Now they're on the hunt. Slay has to be careful. YiJin coming through. fabFab needs to disengage this for the team. It's not enough, though. Gonna look for the knockup, trying to bring it home, trying to get a few more. Slay starting to feel himself. fabFabulous trying to split the team so the resets don't come through. Absolute control from EVOS as YiJin is unstoppable.
5-0-7 for YiJin in a 14-kill game. This guy is going off.
Still pushing in the mid lane as well. Inhib may actually get threatened here. Stomaged back alive. That's how early he died in this trade.
And YiJin's not even here. The most fed member says, you know what, you guys can handle this. Take the 4v3. Stomaged may look for an opportunity to engage, but Graves is coming. Graves is pushing the top tower now, making his way down. GBM in the backside. He gets one more chance at this, but the ultimate not available. Still trying to bring home a few kills, but it's taken too long. The Tristana is quite strong. He's not going to get the chance to heal. Block. SnowFlower. Oh, saving the situation. GBM over aggressive, and YiJin,
they know he's there.
This man doesn't even care. He says, I'll come back and kill you later. Raptors are first on the list.
They're always first on the list. How else do I stress this? Now he's in a position to get caught, though. fabFab teleports in.
If he gets caught, that could be Baron.
Maybe this is the opportunity for SuperMassive to turn it back. It is heavily against them, but YiJin is now set to fall. They go over the wall. They're going to take him down. Will they go for the Baron as well? It's a big risk. But if they're going to do it, they need to do it now.
It's a huge risk. The fact that Zeitnot is already backing right now just means they'll probably take out the vision. But remember, your death timer is also based on the game time and your level. So YiJin is out for 32 seconds here, and they actually cancel the back from Zeitnot.
Yeah, note that they're all in position here, EVOS. They're fully aware that SuperMassive should be going towards the Baron with the jungler dead, and they're here early enough that perhaps it's also a major deterrent, as well as everything that was expended in the makings of that single kill. Erring to the side of caution, I respect that from the SuperMassive side, but when you're 7,000 gold down, can you afford to be safe?
Maybe not. When we look back at this fight, just fantastic use of the Alistar CC into the Graves. SnowFlower, once again, manages to stall this out with use of the Unbreakable, but guys, Graves is so strong.
Yeah, he does so much damage right now. When he's getting those up close and personal fights, he's just doing so much damage with the stacks of the Black Cleaver going up instantaneously, and then has this really good cadence now with the rapid fire cannon. on top of it. Look at that damage.
Insane. 4,000 damage at the fight. And you can just tell how hyper-aware they are of GBM. Right, now they're fully aware of where he is, when he's dealing damage, and how to counteract that. The Alistar, the Ornn as well, the knockups, things that are very difficult to avoid when you've only got one blood pool available. They go to the Baron buff and they hit it straight away.
Stomaged.
This is his moment. This is his chance for redemption after a rough early game.
He has no flash.
Through. This one should just fall in the favor of EVOS. They will grab it. SuperMassive now just going to back off.
What are you doing, GBM?
Oh, GBM. He's made this flank play so many times. He's in the middle of everybody. If he's going to turn it, he has to turn it. Oh, God. That's disgusting.
It's a lot of damage.
Oh, my Lord.
Yes, I mean, yes, it was. Thank you. This Graves is beyond fed. This man has to stop. He's going to give himself a heart attack with how much he's eating in this game.
How do you defend this turret as well? Now they've got the Baron buff.
I don't think you can.
Now it's completely theirs to secure. This comes back to the point of why not try the Baron? Be desperate when you're 7k down.
Now they're 10k down,
Yeah.
Rusty. It's not a lot of options left here for the SuperMassive side.
But EVOS, on the other hand, they can move up to match point here in a game where people were pegging them saying, hey, 3-0 for SuperMassive. SuperMassive had looked clean. EVOS didn't look very clean in their region. But now we're seeing them come out and say, hey, Vietnam, every time that they are underestimated, they're coming out on top.
And this counter pick prepared for the Trundle. Crazy to see, because in their finals, they just picked tanks into it. It looked so hard. They still managed to find the wins, but this time, the Graves.
Yeah, I think that Trundle came out and then everybody was going, Zach Sejuani is the meta. Olaf Skarner are also there. Trundle beats all 4 of those junglers hands down. And then people had more time to experiment. Graves got some buffs. People were playing Nidalee into it. And even the Kindred, I think, we'll see a little bit more of. But 3 ranged junglers played into it that don't build resistances are really the big answer and can bully it early.
I mean, Graves buffed 3 patches back to back. Pretty crazy. And then on top of that, YiJin, clearly a veteran on the champion, so good on stage, did not hesitate to invade and find those advantages.
And we have 1 minute and 45 seconds left with this Baron buff. There are 2 banner of commands that EVOS could use in any of their respective lanes. And you'd have to imagine they're keeping Stark on the top side with teleport. He wants to use one and then come join the rest of his team. They've got a couple of waves left to utilize that fact. But Graves, he needs to get his Drake first. Get your 3rd Ocean Drake in there before.
And banner just used on the top side as well as in the mid lane. Graves, triple Ocean every time.
Unfortunately, going for that Dragon does give the counterplay availability to SuperMassive. They just walk mid lane, they dematerialize it, they're able to disengage.
fabFabulous has the minion dematerializer. Still 2 stacks. There's one on the top side that he can go after, but they aren't Baron buffing it up right now. There's no banners left. They used both of them already.
A minute left. YiJin on the bottom side. If they're going to engage, they want to go now. But RonOP is actually the one looking to start the fight. Ornn ultimate blocked out, but it means they can't block the Tristana or the Cassio damage from coming home. Stark gonna flash forward, does manage to knock up one. Ezreal still making out. YiJin right off to the side, but he's gonna get exhausted. The CC starting to come through. SnowFlower trying to make a hero play. Shut down onto the Fed member. The Ezreal wants to get something home, but it's Warzone. And Slay amidst everything. Cutting through the lineup. GBM needs to heal. The double kill comes in. The Tristana with the resets, trying to hit home, trying to close this game out. GBM runs for his life. Slay says, not a chance. Triple quadra. The bounce house and the quadra for Slay.
That should be it, honestly. EVS, they get all 5 kills. They walk towards the mid lane. They won't need the Baron, but they still have 15 seconds on it left, and they bring themselves to the match point.
And VCS, they come out swinging a game that people thought that they couldn't win, a matchup that they couldn't win, and they are on the cusp of taking it.
On the road to take it, game point as they look to close this game out. 2-1 for EVOS as they just cut through the SuperMassive lineup.
And that is what you want to see from them. You want to see that Stark is not the person carrying them, because you know that strategy works. You know when the Camille comes through, he can carry. But they're putting in the buff arms of Warzone, the guy who can lift. They're putting it with YiJin, the rookie, the guy who's 17 years old, super young, with the confidence on this international stage to bring it home.
I just cannot believe, gentlemen, how clean that Graves performance was. How quickly EVOS dismantled SuperMassive, and at the same time, we have to remember that the way that this started was not, EVOS making some fantastic outplay. It was GBM and SuperMassive overplaying their hand, too eager to get early advantages. GBM too eager to prove himself over Warzone. And the second you give that advantage to a Graves, Rusty, it just it feels like it falls apart.
It starts early with the 2v2, and it's not the end of the game with how strong they were getting from that. It's the follow-up, the consistent attempts from GBM, trying to be the heroic member of the side. Doesn't quite get those heroics to come across successfully for any kind of kills. In fact, you give something to Warzone. He's used to being behind. He's quite good at playing from behind because he just experiences death a lot in his losing games. But you present him kills, he's so good at snowballing games out working with his jungler.
Yeah, and the fact it wasn't just the jungler. RonOP showed up to help him, knew that GBM was going to go for an aggressive play like that. Warzone, at the very beginning, had a stumble against GBM, and I think GBM is kind of treating him a bit like a joke and saying, I can just keep all-inning you over and over again. And GBM has to get that in check for the next game if they want to take it to the 5th one.
I mean, we've seen what happens when you disrespect Warzone. Well, coming up next, it's match point for EVOS as they look to secure their spot at the group stage. We're going to be right back after this. Wants to fire back, just trying to sidestep. Gets the kill! Now Stomaged maybe next. Here comes the crazy again. Another one! Oh my god, outplayed! What is SuperMassive doing?
I think GBM has just lost his mind for a second there.
Except for the Alistar. That's disaster for the rest of the team. Cassiopeia comes out. Slay is now unafraid of GBM as he's going to grab one for himself. The resets are coming in. Fab in the backside. Slay looking to get one more, but it goes over to the Cassio in the end. Zeitnot now going to fall as well. The double kill.
Spawn was saying he was 0-7. Now he's
Warzone wants a little bit more. Oh god, he's really feeling himself. Zeitnot though going to fire back. That's the stun that is going to kill him. YiJin does a lot of damage though, going in for the extra, a little bit of burst. Braum blocking what he can. Warzone throws the ulti over the wall. They're trying to keep the tank zone out of the fight. They know YiJin can bring it home. He does so much in the exchange, trying to close this game out. GBM runs for his life. Slay says, not a chance. Triple Quadra, the bounce house, and the Quadra for Slay. Take it game point as they look to close this game out. 2-1 for EVOS as they just cut through the SuperMassive lineup.